Metal Gear Solid, late night retro game talk, and just talking about like why it's good. And I would say this is a perfect time to start buying those games. Um, those original IPs, as you can see, they're having difficulty remaking. So if you want to play that game at the best frame rate, PC, and the original prints, that's why I go after retro CDs. Because, one second, but like, yo, exactly what I just said. It goes even the same thing with music. If you want to collect music, reel to reel is the best quality. Cassette tape is the second best. Record is the third best. CD is the fourth best. And like this era of streaming is like the worst audio quality. Hence, look at what's going on with the video games. If it's following with the same scenario with video games. That the only way they could come out with a remake or HD, whatever it is, they have to make the whole game from scratch. That is the issue going on with modern day video games right now. If if they want to put out a remake of an old school video game, they have to build the whole game from scratch. It is not the original IP. So the last good IP possibly right now for a lot of those games might be for the PS3. I say that one more time. The last of good quality of like the best quality you're gonna get of that version is on the PS3 right now. So the same thing that they did with Grand Theft Auto back in the day, like Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas, is the same thing they're doing with other video games in modern day, where they're taking out content. They're cutting content from modern day video games. Supposedly, they might cut out content from those Metal Gear Solid Part 2 and Part 3. Right after this video, I'm going to make a purchase of it. Um, so, you get in the games maybe at a little bit of a better quality, but you're not even getting good frame rate, good playback quality. I'm sticking with retro easily for the next 20 years. So that's 2 decades. Easily, I am not. The only way I'm on digital is when there is no choice, but it's on digital. That's it. But aside from that, whatever I can acquire in this span of this next 2 decades that's physical, I'm sticking with physical. I'm sticking with physical. Um, what is another thing? For a lot of these game developers, when they put out physical, they need to send review cards out so people can test properly have a review about your thing of what is your frame rate your game is running at. Because I am very critical at what games I'm buying at this moment, to be honest. I don't. I saw some certain games that I wanted to buy for like Nintendo, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay right over here on the PlayStation. So yeah, I collect games, and I don't mean like just like one or two copies. I collect them in the bundles because in reality, they're good games. They're good games, man. If I wanted to play the game again, I'll play it on on the original console. Than to play the one copy I bought of that Legacy collection. I bought it sealed. I'm leaving it sealed. I'm leaving that sealed. Um, just a late night chat about opinions about the new Metal Gear and these new Metal Gear remakes and what will be the progression of them. How will people take playing these games when they come back out? Because in the long run, for my behalf, I will stick with the original copies. That was the same thing with even like the Grand Theft Autos and whatnot. When the news was coming out about they wanted to um they were gonna take out certain forms of content, I was so gracious that I had the original print because I just thought that was detrimental to all the little things that might make the game a good game to play. That's another one to look out for, to try to get the first prints of the Grand Theft Autos. That's another one. Those HDs, I didn't. I'll stick with the original, if might I say. I would like to get a Sly Cooper collection. I never really got any Sly Cooper games actually. Um, there's a lot of good games still for the between the PS1 and really up to the PS4, between all four consoles. There's a lot of good games still around um, that you can get for fabulous prices still, and build a good collection of treasure. So late night chat. So it really is late night chat talking about Metal Gear. Did you play the original Metal Gear, or are you looking forward to downloading the new one coming out? That's random opinions. What do y'all think about the new Metal Gear? Will you be purchasing it? Did the news of the new Metal Gear make you want to go and purchase the original copies? Final Fantasy 9 as well is another remake. I think they say they're coming out with eventually. I think I bought like 3 copies of those right before the news came out. So I'm not shocked about that as well. About these companies all working on remake this, remake that. Um, but some certain stories that been came out on YouTube is the truth. That when it comes to a lot of these remakes, if they don't build, and that's what really I would say Konami should have did. They should rebuild all 3 of those games from the ground up. That's genuinely what they should have did. They should rebuild part one, they should rebuild part two, and they should rebuild part three from the ground up. If they want to put those games out again, but they put out a legacy collection, a HD collection for the PS3, and then you're gonna redo that all over again. Like, I'm good on that. We need a genuine Metal Gear Solid Part One remake, Part Two remake, and a Part Three remake. The same things that SquareSoft did for Final Fantasy. The same thing that they're doing with the Silent Hills, or for Resident Evil, and whatever other games. They need to just make a whole entire remake. That is what they really need to do in the long run. What else I would say about Konami? If they could re-put out the PSP Parodius, I would be very gracious. They could just The same IP. They don't even need to really do much about that. And if they could put that out for the Nintendo Switch, I would gladly like to buy that game. I never got a copy of it. Parodius for the PSP. Or if it could be a whole Parodius trilogy, I would really like that from Konami. That is like the one game that they really never put out in America that I would like for the longest right now is the Parodius trilogy and a Gradius trilogy. How about both? That would be insane. 4 Gradiuses, 4 Parodiuses, 8 games in one. That would be insane. Or just really both. I would buy one of both if they did. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid, man, fantastic game. I regret ever selling my copy of the Game Boy Color one that I had when it first came out because it's very expensive. I don't see myself ever buying that again. Um, and Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3 is fantastic games. They're really good games to play. And I would rather go back to playing them on the original consoles, to be honest. That's my opinion. I would rather play the original copies than to go back to go and play these 30 frames per second versions. Um, or I would have to bust open my PS3 version. That would be the other one. To even though it's skyrocketing in price, like get your hands on that PS3 version. That would be my most highest suggestion about if you like Metal Gear and you would like a nice compilation of it, get that Legacy collection. You basically getting everything on that disc. That's a good that's the best one they did so far. So late night retro game chattings. Yeah, there's a lot of games that I would say you don't really need YouTube videos like me basic to figure that out. Anything that's a AAA title and if it's under $10, cop it. Any AAA titles from back in the days that's under $10, buy a copy. They're guaranteed buying a $40 to $50 game later down the line. And then there's another weird theory I have right now that I don't think has been spoken about in the video game world. Um, like the news that broke out a while back with the rights to Mickey Mouse, I think, and how anybody now can use those rights to do anything that they want with it without being sued by Disney. How about that be applicable to video games in the next 10 or 15 years or something? Or who knows? In the next 50 years or something. That if you got a physical copy, you can now officially extract the information and read and like you can't get in trouble for selling it. Who knows? Because there is certain forms of rights to that physical disc. So who knows what the future holds for having physical media in your possession? What rights you will gain after a certain amount of time of years that pass. That's one thing how I'm not stopping collecting. I ain't stopping. Come on, y'all. Leave a like. Give me a like, y'all. Spam some likes, please. Let me get a follow. Give me some comments. Spam poops for the comments. I don't care what it is in the comment. It could be a L. L to me. Spam W or L for my videos. I don't care what it is. Just even a letter. Applebee's. Spam a thumb up. Positivity. Hello back to you too. Thank you. Yeah. So if you're trying to collect retro games, it's still a good time to buy them. That's what I'm doing in my late night retro chat. And I would suggest like if you like Metal Gear, get your hands on them now. because they're still at very good prices. They're under $10. Can't beat that. Um, Fun games to play. Fun games to play, man. And how I look at the future of playing, even for myself, is on the behalf of speed running. So it's not playing games more than a day's time to hopefully beat them within 3 to 4 hours span. Is how I look at playing video games in modern day. So eventually, I might do speed runs on the channel. For like the games that I'm truly into, which is majority of the stuff I buy. Cause I'm into all three Metal Gears. I don't know about playing the first one for the I beat that already a couple times, so maybe I might play part two and part three. I guess maybe see myself playing again. I might have, yeah, maybe all of them. Who knows? Cause I like how people learn the limits of video games and break those limits by doing other factors in games. That's the one thing I like about retro games and people who still play them in modern day. People who learn how to break the limits of video games. I find that very cool. Like I've been watching some videos for old school Street Fighter and Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers, and some of the combo systems I was seeing they was doing was really amazing. I've never seen these things before. So there's certain people who just figured out stuff with X-Men versus Street Fighter just not too long ago that was amazing about glitching the game basically by punching in certain forms of code that the system is just not used to engaging with. So that can be applicable to maybe to say most video games. Most video games have not been truly figured out, but it's possible to play them to a limit where the game crashes. So that has happened already with the Super Mario 3, where there's a format to figure out how to crash the game, and then through that glitch crash, um, it sends you to the very end of the video game. So these theories have been physically proven, and but it hasn't been done with like not to say like every game. It hasn't really been done with like 100 video games. There's 1,000 video games per game system, and for speed run wise, it has. I don't think it's been fully figured out for more than 100 games yet to crash the system, and it'll shoot you straight to the end of the game, which will be like a 2 minute maybe speed run or maybe less. So there's a lot of potential with a lot of these games still now that I wouldn't be shocked about seeing in the future. Maybe even for Metal Gear. Like when people glitch through walls and then just keep running through maps of the stage and move through it through a certain minutes of time for speed runs. But I'm definitely into speed runs and watching those. That was one of my definite influences years back before I heavily got into game collecting. I heavily did watch GDQ Games Done Quick. I was definitely into watching those speed runs. Um, Demon Turf, I think it's called, for the Xbox, and then Limited Run printed some copies of it too. I wound up buying a copy or two of that. I don't even buy Xbox box games like that, but I bought two copies of that because it looked like a fantastic speed run. Like one of the best looking games I've ever seen actually in a long time for the Xbox was Demon Throttle. And I haven't seen another game since that I would buy like not to say that, like say it like that, but it's a lot of good games out to still buy right now. It's easily like 500 good games still around to buy right now. To have a beautiful collection when it comes to retro collecting and acquiring, and they're at very good prices, very good prices. Like I've never counted how many games I got, but I would say there's a big list still that you could get for under $10, even $15, um, of games. Let's say from $30 and down. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of them, ton of them, ton of them. That I don't know how to say. I wouldn't really wait around to find out what's gonna happen later down the line. Like I even did that with Dead Space a while back before the Dead Space remake came out. I acquired a couple copies of that. And it didn't go up in price still right now, months later, but I just don't want to wait around to find out. Those are very good horror games. I'm into collecting horror games. And I'd rather acquire them before they turn into 30, 40, or $50 games. Like, I don't got time for that. I don't got time for that in my endeavors, how I'm acquiring. I don't got time for that. So, I'm going to end it with this. Peace out. Have a good night, y'all. Late night chat. Buy the original copies of Metal Gear is my best suggestion. They're still cheap games to buy. They run perfect. Have a good day. Pew!